representing everybody that is you. I represent being able to find the light at the end of the tunnel.
You gotta really be in it and really enjoy it and really want it.
And I feel like if you come into it like that day one, man, you unstoppable.
That shows people it's possible, my people, that it's possible.
And that is so necessary in a world of misinformation. This is a legacy effort.
We're so confused, Ty. I'm scared to have this conversation with them.
Just have to take this one day at a time.
Found unresponsive, but her situation's extremely critical.
A white child. Who knows how it's gonna go over in the neighborhood, school, church.
Can't worry about all those things.
His parents are already filing a petition.
Ty, we have to.
Grandparents' rights, custody rights.
Like, the bodies aren't even cold yet.
People can be so cruel.
Not my parents. I can't have them around my child.
I want to protect our kids and Emily from whoever tries to harass her.
There is no way I will allow Emily to live with people like you.
Emily is in the ICU.
You need to worry about your own family and your own job, not somebody else's kid.
Daddy, she needs us.
What can we do to help her?
Hey y'all, it's me, your fave, Jazzonfire. And if you are seeing my lovely face on a Sunday, then you know that means it is fourth Sunday, which means another episode of In Creative Color. All right, y'all. So as always, I've got a lovely guest that's going to come and chop it up with us about all things creating, and we are going to bring her in. Lanee, how are you feeling?
Hello, I am great. I'm happy to be here. I'm ready for whatever you're ready for.
I'm excited. So first of all, y'all, if you saw that lovely trailer that just played before we came in, that is actually one of Lanee's films. So, a series that is coming out. So definitely going to get into that, but wanted to point to that. And of course, that will play again once we are at the end. But just wanted to make sure y'all got that in your mind. Like, this is what we're talking about. This is the quality of work that Lanee is producing. So without further ado, I'm going to read this bio because we know, y'all, the bios are always stacked. So Lanee Blaise is a screenwriter, producer, speaker, and host of the 6+ years, and I believe it's 7 now, 7 years running, Imagine Yourself podcast. And as the oldest of 7 wildly different siblings, I feel that the youngest of 6 here, though. She loves adding a personal yet comical mix of fact and fiction into every creative endeavor. She's been executive producer of 6 projects, including a family-friendly drama series she co-wrote called Blended, which you just saw, that premiered this year. She founded Black Encore, a community for Black women writers entering the world of Hollywood and show business for the first time. And she most recently produced a Christmas romance film. Somebody say we love those Christmas romance films. Set for release this holiday season. So although it's only March, who cares? For me, it's Christmas all year round. Go ahead and put it on your calendar. And that film reminds her of the sparks between her college sweetheart turned husband. And that film is titled Rekindle. Lanee Blaise, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for that, Miss Jasmine.
You're welcome. Now, before we hop in, I always say I got to take the folk to church. I don't care if you've been this morning, we're going again. And I just want to pray us in. So let us go before the Father. Gracious and heavenly Father, creator of all things around us, Father, the universe, the stars, the sky, the sun, everything we see, Father. We see and we bask in the beauty of the world around us. And we just thank you for being one of your creations, but also making us creators. And so we just pray, Lord, that this conversation will be soul food to somebody who is hungry, whether that is for you and or to create. Father, we pray that you would just have your way on this call. And we will give you the glory, whether it reaches 1 million or just one. Either way, we will not fail to give your name praise. Amen.
Amen. Yes.
All righty. First of all, yes. I gotta know. I always ask, when the computer is off, the pen is down, the script writing and screenwriting software is closed. Who is Lanee Blaise?
Lanee is a person who I'm so grateful that we prayed, because I definitely believe in God as the foundation of everything in my life. So I'm a God lover. I am a family lover. I'm a friend lover. I really like to savor life. I love humor. Like you mentioned about being one of many kids. So you're the baby of 6 and I'm the oldest out of 7. I love being a sister. And I love talking about things that will uplift. And that's why the projects that I've been working on uplift. And that's why I'm on a show like yours today. This is meant to uplift. That's who Lanee is. That's why she's here on this earth. I think that's what God put me here.
I love that. And I think too, this is one of the biggest things. We always like, oh my gosh, what am I called to do? What is my purpose? But I think people don't really make that connection of like their everyday life to their job and like what they were actually put on this earth for. So I think already starting off, beautiful point. Of course, your identity isn't rooted in what you do, but more so who you are. And I think that in turn, like flip it, your work should be grounded in who you are. And with that being said, I know you mentioned that your family and, your love story is typically sprinkled throughout your projects, right? So I always love to ask, like, when you do have those people who add that personal mix of family, friends, fact and fiction into your creative endeavors, what does that look like? How do you balance, like, showing your family in your work without like showing too much of your family? And they're like, Lanee, I saw the latest series and you put my business out there. Like, what does balance look like?
So that is a good point. I'll tell you this way, and this pulls into the God component also, as far as being led to projects or led to ideas. I do want to be honest and say that the blended television series didn't actually start with me. I'm not the creator of that project. It's a lady named Renelle Golden, and Renelle Golden is a fantastic filmmaker, and she had created the concept and she wanted to partner with someone. But for example, so my maiden name, my family name is Washington. And so crazy enough, the characters that she'd already thought up there, they were the Washington family. The little boy in the family, his name was Jay. My son's name is Jay. Renelle happens to be from Ohio. I'm from Ohio. So all these things, God wants me to work on this project. And we were going to be filming in Florida, and my husband's entire family lives in Florida, in Orlando. So all those things started to come together. And then you begin the crafting process where there were certain scenes that I did write as a co-writer, I'm sorry. And I began to think about little things with friendships, because the blended show is about friends that are so deep that it becomes a blended family. And I thought about my little friendships from folks back in college and high school and how we used to cut up. And so you put a little bit of that in it. And then I think about different things that when you have 7 kids in a family, there's lots of material to work with. So you start to incorporate that too.
Like the script writes itself.
You don't call anybody out completely, but you put little characteristics of folks, and it can be beautiful and nobody has to get hurt. So like to that point, like I'm never going to write just a tell-all on my whole family business. Yeah. But if you know me, then you'll recognize certain things in my work that you're like, oh yeah, this is from that. And, and so it's storytelling, but it doesn't have to hurt anybody.
I love that. Like inspiration without actually like biting the entire real life experience, where they're watching and it's given like Best Man and Best Man holiday series. And it's like, oh, this is what we're doing. Okay.
Now also too, because I'm a podcaster and we have the inspirational podcast, Imagine Yourself, that one we do talk about life situations. But again, as much as I will be somewhat transparent, I'm not going to bring up names on, different hurtful things, all the time, because at the end of the day, I feel like you need to be God-led on your projects, on what your mouth says, on what you write out, all that. So
For sure, for sure. I love that. Oh, okay. All good things, all great directions. Let's see. Let's go to Blended first,
Yes.
because I know you mentioned that you co-wrote this with Renelle and Sean. And I just want to know, how was that birth, and what does it look like in birthing and creating a shared vision? Like, what does it look like to co-write a show or film with someone?
So I'm going to say something, and it's not as flowery as I would like it to be, but it's still business at the end of the day. I know that's maybe a bad way to start, but even creatively, it's a business. So when you think about it as a writer and you're trying to put together, craft something wonderful, you have to remember, as a writer for each scene, you have to think about the budget. So for example, you're thinking about the number of locations that you're going to have this family go to. You're thinking about the lighting and situating the folks, because we had at the very beginning of the show, we have a card scene, and it was supposed to be a game of spades, which a lot of folks, especially Black folks, know about playing spades.
Do you know?
But from a director's point of view, she's like, it can't be spades. I'm like, why not? She said, because the way that I have the camera set up, when you're playing with a partner across in this way, she's like, no, it's going to have to be two people on this side, two people on that side. I'm like, oh man. So different things like that creatively, you have to think about. But as far as birthing a project like this, Blended is about race. It's about tragedy. It's about faith. It's about friendship that turns into love. So there's a tragedy that happens, and it's between a white family and a Black family. And with things in this country, especially the way they are right now, my job, I felt like, was to make sure that the audience understands that these two families are genuinely connected. I didn't want it to be anything where you worry that, oh, there's a little bit of racism in their relationship and they think a little bit of this about each other. No, it was true. To me, when you have a truly racially beautiful friendship with someone else, you don't say things or think things like, oh, I don't see color. You understand that there are certain challenges that some groups of people have that others don't have. And this doesn't have to be even just Black and white. It was in Blended, but whenever you are really friends with someone, you want to, I feel, embrace the whole person, their whole everything. And sometimes their problems are your problems, or at least your concerns and considerations. So as a Black woman writer, I felt like that was part of the setup. You have to make sure that the audience believes that these folks are connected for real.
I love that. Oh, and I feel like thinking about the different barriers or obstacles that come with that, and, understanding how to write around that, and I guess blend, pun intended, I guess, without, compromising too much. Like, okay, as a writer, a trusted writer, obviously, being that I was brought onto this project, you have to also trust that, my vision and like my creative also works for your vision. And so just really blending those visions together. So, wow.
Being flexible, being willing to rewrite an entire scene for either budget reasons or camera reasons, or again, to go back to the drawing board and saying, you know what, this is not going to be authentic. This is not going to feel authentic to the audience. We are not going to do that to our audience. We trust them enough and we respect them enough to rewrite it and make it fresh and make it good.
Sure, for sure. Always keeping the audience in mind, just like an audience first perspective when writing. I think it's always important. So I know you mentioned a couple of different things we would see in this series. And obviously we have like the ones that are just outright blended families. So we're talking about family dynamics, we're talking about race, we're talking about friendship, we're talking about loyalty, all the things. But I want to know, are there any like themes or lessons that you personally hope people dig deeper to take from the project?
Again, I am going to go back to that part about, number one, you can have, okay, so I'm about to go into two different things at once, Jasmine. Number one, you can have a blended family even under the most challenging circumstances, and even if it's not your biological family. I say that for a few reasons. The title Blended, some people thought it was going to be a story about divorced family and them blending together, which is, I feel like, an important topic, but that's not what our Blended was about. Some people thought it was about an interracial marriage where you have people of two races, they get married and then they have a child. That's another important topic, but that's not what this one happened to be about. This one happened to be about two separate families, friendships, blending together as one in the face of tragedy and having to rely on faith to get there. The reason that I say these other ones are so important too, and maybe will end up being something that's written about, is because when you have, I come from a blended family. I come from, my parents were divorced, my parents got remarried, and I have all these wonderful siblings because of that. Our family believes in adoption. Our family believes in not calling each other half sisters or adopted sisters or stepsisters. And something about this show, Blended, is going to eventually, bring in those kinds of emotions also, even though it's not, like I said, it's not about people being divorced, but it brings those kind of emotions. Family to me, I think I start off at the very beginning of this show saying God and family is really all I care about in life, and an extended family. So people who are friends who become like family. And Jasmine, you know this because you're in Black Encore with me. The ladies when we get together, they are like our sisters, or they're like my nieces. I guess, we become a family. And if people could really take that away and realize that this whole thing, this whole journey in life is meant to be, you're supposed to add people into your family, I'll be happy. I'll leave it at that.
And we absolutely love work that, of course, entertains, but we also love work that inspires, that influences, that changes the way we think or see things. So definitely appreciate your work in this series, and we cannot wait to just hop in and stream. And speaking of, we can now, because we had the Blended premiere not too long ago. Tell us about that. I know we've also got some pictures from it.
Yes.
All the details.
So the Blended premiere, it's wonderful because we got to finally see everything on the big screen, but it's still this hopeful because we are trying to get the Blended TV series picked up. We are trying to get it at home. We want it to be like the next This Is Us or A Million Little Things, because in This Is Us, as many people may know, that's another one with a blended family where they have the adopted son who comes in and makes up the big three. This has a feel of that underlying with it also. And so, of course, I am praying to God and working towards getting all the people that you see on this screen into a network, a streamer, a platform where people can watch all the different episodes of Blended. And again, this has been a family also. I tell you what, lots of people in the Blended cast and crew said that this was one of the warmest, most loving sets that they had ever been a part of.
Wow.
And that is, I give that again to God, but I give it to Renelle Golden. She was the creator, the writer with, wrote with her on it, producer with me on it, and the director. And when you have a set where there will be no disrespect tolerated, where there will be timekeepers to keep you on time, it is really warm and rich, and it comes through.
I love that. And I think it's especially important and kind of true and authentic to the experience that, like, a show about family dynamics, it's like, yeah, on set, this was a family dynamic, or it gave that familial feel. And so hopefully that translates, on screen. So just beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, lots of project under Lanee's belt. And I think I want to just know, we've got a couple of titles just for you in there. We've got screenwriter, we've got podcast host, we've got producer. And so who were you first, and when did you realize it?
Who am I first is a talker. And when did I realize it? As a child. So first part as a child is I would carry around, this shows how old I'm at, my little cassette tape player, and interview folks constantly. I can almost see a little Jasmine doing that as well back in the day too. But,
for sure.
I would interview folks, or I would get anyone who had a camcorder back then to record me interviewing folks. So I love to talk. That was, I talked in school. I got in trouble for that a lot. So that's one part. Second part, at heart, is a creative and producer and writer, because I had so many siblings, and I was like running the show sometimes. We would put together these skits. We did The Real World Detroit. We did Ricky Lake, which is an old talk show. And all my different siblings would play different parts or play multiple parts, and just directing who's doing what and when and where, very collaborative. And then even my little friends, we think of these big, huge storylines, and just act them out. So at the end, in the beginning, and the middle of the day, I am a talker and I'll say a creator as far as storylines, producing, putting it together. That is who I am. And it started with the podcasting, to be fair. And I personally believe that God got me involved with the podcast with my partner, Sandy, who she asked me. We were in Bible study together. She asked if I would, and it's like, okay, we started. It taught me stamina, deadlines, being able to bring my thoughts together in a cohesive manner and just run with that. Of course, for television and film, I had studied that in college. So that's when I got my degree in broadcast and communication. So that part was steady. But no, at the beginning and end, it's the talker and the storyteller. I love telling stories. I love telling jokes. And that was because of my family. There's, some my folks are crazy, and some are more.
I mean, who would want to watch a bull and go like, ah?
But all of the, some of my folks are more demure. So you put it together, and it made me who I am and what I do. And I do feel this purpose. Speaking is another one also. I love speaking. It tends to be women's conferences and things like that. That's another component. But you build this muscle. And you get these opportunities, and they start building up more and more and more until you find yourself having a whole wheelhouse under your belt. And Jasmine, I have to talk to you personally about that too. You have that too. You just keep stacking more and more great credentials, experiences, and expertise under your belt. And that's what I'm doing also.
I love that, because I am absolutely not a fan of like the jack of all trades, master of none. I'm going to jack all the trades and I'm a master every single one of them, because even if you can't truly master them all at the same time, like at one point you are going to be a master if you work hard enough at it. And I do believe that just brings like a level of expertise to like anything. For example, professionally, I started off as an editor, not really realizing that that was where I was going to end up. But I feel like with that makes me think like so differently as a writer, because it's like, okay, as I'm writing, I got to think about how I would want the editor to put this together. Or as I'm editing, I'm like, dang, I wish the producer had, or the director had told them to do this or get this shot. So I truly am like anti like jack of all trades, master of none. We can master every trade, and I'm 1,000% with it.
That's what I'm talking about with the business part of it and the faith part together. Your editing changes the other components of your work. And also with Blended, I had not expected to be producing with Renelle on it. But that's another part. Sometimes other folks, and of course I'm a proponent of women, but other folks will sometimes bring this other stuff out for you. Renelle was like, I know you love screenwriting and writing is your thing, but you need to be producing on this with me as well. And she's like, I will teach you the different things that you don't already know. I'll teach you and we'll do it together. And that collaboration is so important too. There's no competition, just collaboration.
And I really wish there was just more of that in the industry, like just general reason or like desire to just be helpful, to pass on knowledge. And obviously, I know you mentioned Black Encore, which of course we can get into. I don't know, may have folks banging on your door after this, like, I'm trying to get in, like, let me in. But the idea of mentoring and being a resource to, and just kind of creating a community for women of color who want to be in the industry. I mean, talk about it. Like, what birthed the vision? I know this, but the folks don't know. But where did that vision come from? Like, what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna do this? How did it start?
That vision came from a prayer, a double prayer. So back a couple years ago, I started to get antsy and frustrated because so it just seemed like, and still in some components still happening. It's feeling like in some places the sky is falling a little bit. And I just prayed to God. I'm like, dear God, this industry, television, film, the whole Hollywood thing, it was going through the writer's strikes and the actors, the union strikes, layoffs, bleeding money. It was just in a really bad state. And I was praying for the industry. I was also praying for more positive shows. It's nothing wrong with having lots of different genres, lots of different perspectives, but I did want some things that were more hopeful or more funny. Like, what happened to all of our sitcoms that we
My
could
goodness. I was work being stressed out all day. I do not want to watch something that's going to stress me out even more.
Yes, So I just wanted that. And then I also wanted the generation, my daughter and son are Gen Z generation. And I was just thinking, what are we leaving for this generation? What are they going to do when they graduate and it's time to go into the workforce? What have we left for them to hold on to and to hope for? Within 24 hours of me praying all that to God, LinkedIn, which I love, started sending women into my LinkedIn box and saying, hey, I see the different things that you've worked on, different films and television projects. Would you be willing to take, a few minutes with me on a Zoom to just talk about your journey or to give advice? And then my husband's like, hey, I've got my friend's daughter. She's interested in TV and film. Can you talk to her? My daughter said, hey, some of my friends, they're about to graduate from college and they're interested in TV and film. And then we, before you turn around good, there's like 20-ish ladies in there. I'm like, I can't do this one-on-one all the time. So we'll get together and we will feed off of one another and we will blossom and we'll end up doing the things where it will help the industry. It will help the generation. It will help everyone wins.
Oh my goodness. Like, the turnaround, that is
24 hours. God. Boom.
One day, like one full day. Yes. Wow.
Even you, I met you because a friend of mine said, I know this wonderful lady. Her name is Jasmine, and you need to talk to her. She's written a book. She's in that media field. You just, and I'm like, well, she's going to come into Black Encore then, because it just grows. It grows like, more and more people, but it grows hope. It grows faith. It grows strength. And we, this too. We have this, again, no competition at all. It is a encouragement space only. And collaboration. If you know something and it's a position that you're not going to apply for, you let your other friend know so that they can apply for it and they can win.
For sure. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. I think that's also to a testament or a testimony to putting your work out there, putting yourself out there. Because the way that I was connected to Lanee, and it's funny because the person who connected me to her, I don't know when exactly we got connected. I know on LinkedIn, like senior year, junior year of like undergrad, we're connected to everybody just trying to get a job. But I had never had a conversation with her before. Didn't know at all. So when she reached out to me originally, I thought it was like one of those spam messages. But after being like having a conversation with her, she's like, I have this woman I want to connect you with because I think based on the work that you posted on your page, and I hadn't posted in forever, she was like, I think she would be great for you to connect with. And from there, literally, like, I was like, wow, like, just for me deciding to be bold and brave to, post about my book on LinkedIn. And I think too, realizing that the things that you are creating, I don't know, I just feel like there's this shift, especially in the creative industry, between like what exactly, like, professional etiquette and what works. And it's like, if you are creating and producing something, put it out there. There's an audience for everything. Somebody needs to see it. And so I think because I was worried about like the faith-based realm of it, I was like, this may not be received well on LinkedIn, but from that, like literally a connection that I now like I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And from that connection, literally like a round table of 20 other connections. It's just like, you just really never know the impact your work and sharing your work will have.
Yeah, I say shout out Shannon Doyle Bell. She is the one who
Sure.
connected me. She is just a wonderful lady. She's a producer as well. She has been so helpful when I was my most vulnerable in this industry, thinking, how am I going to get things to the next level? You know, sometimes when I have that part, like, do I even know exactly what I'm doing? And you know, it doesn't matter if you know exactly what you're doing. Do the next smart thing, something that makes sense.
Yes.
You know, take a moment and pause before you do it, and make sure that you're, you know, that this is the right way. But give it a try. I keep learning that lesson. That actually is another important lesson. Keep trying, keep pushing out different things. I've learned that from Shannon. Like I said, shout out Shannon Doorbell. Learned it from Renelle Golden, as far as we're just going to just keep putting out projects after projects after projects, different genres. She's not limited by, you need to stick within the box of a certain genre. She's just like, we're doing it. Also to my podcast partner, Sandy, who's like, I want to make a podcast. We can think up the name, we can think up the direction. I want it to be inspirational. I want it to uplift, because again, we're all about uplift. Just do it.
I think literally, I'm pretty sure like every guest I've had have like at some point in the conversation, like, just do it. And it's like Nike did their thing with that one, because it's really just a matter of, you have to decide, you have to choose to just go for it one day.
And if you want to switch, just say, do it smart then. Okay. Like, cause you, to be fair, do some research.
Don't just do it, but
do it smart. Just do it smart. Because that's another part. You mentioned earlier on here how you really wish that people would, you know, be willing to be more helpful. And there are so many helpful people. And if you're, you know, you're helpful and others are helpful, and you start to believe that that is the way this life is, and you're smart with that too. Don't go with the folks who promise too much, and something in you tells you this is too good to be true, or this is a scam. It probably is a scam, you know, but the ones who you start to learn, you start to feel who is legitimate, who is not, who is for you, who is not. How you can be for others, and it just blossoms. There's a lot of good folks out there willing to help.
For sure. I love that. I love that. Okay, so I know you mentioned the podcast. We've touched on a lot of different things. We want to make sure we get into all of it. But of course, y'all know y'all can find all things Lanee by following her on social. You can follow Blended TV series and the podcast, which I want to know about. Tell me a little bit more. I know you said you have like your co-host, and the podcast itself is a little bit less about like the business and the industry, and it's more about life.
It's about life. We focus on areas of faith, relationships, mental and physical health. We many times have guests that will give expert advice, especially like stuff like nutrition and fitness and health. That is not my area of expertise, but I tell you what, the guests that we have had,
somebody,
yes, they know, and they have had me. I've lost 10 pounds in a healthy way, and just do things differently now. You know, it's not a diet per se. So things like that, relationship wise, I feel like I am kind of an expert on that. I've been, not dating or anything. I'm not an expert on that, but I've been married to my husband for 26 years, and you know, we've known each other for 30 years. We were little college sweethearts, and you learn a lot when you're with some, you know, you learn there's these patches, there's bad patches and there's good patches. And I know even Michelle Obama mentioned about the you know, X number of years that she would say were great with Barack Obama, and the other ones were not as great, but the totality of it was worth it. So, you know, we talk, but mainly mental health. We bring in, because I'm not a psychotherapist, but we bring in experts on that. The faith component we push a lot, not every episode, but it has just been really beautiful. It's been really beautiful. And I learned so much from my little Bible study group, from my little siblings, from my past, all that, and just put it and infuse it in everything.
I love that. I love that. And I feel like most creatives have like a theme or like a running thread that kind of trails through all of their work, whether they realize it or not. But it's like the things that you experience, the things that are important to you are going to bleed into your work regardless. So I absolutely love that. So I want to dig into something. In one of your posts from the podcast, you asked, who do you need to be right now to be the best you in a future season? And first of all, this is therapy. Like, oh, wait a minute. But you posed that to the listeners, and I just want to, and feel free to elaborate on that question as well, but I want to pose it to you. Who does Lanee need to be right now in order to be the best future Lanee for that season?
Well, this, I'm going to start off again. It's like everything almost I have to attribute to someone else. This was one of our podcast guests. Her name is Elizabeth Sherman. And she is she's one of those ones who deals with your wellness, your health, your fitness, your nutrition. She is the one who put that out to me when I was so worried about weight and the scale and things like that. And she was more interested in my energy levels, my health levels, because I was going to be on set for a whole month filming Rekindled for Christmas. And she asked me that question: who do you need to be in order to be successful as you go through this 1 month on set for this filming and producing of this Christmas film? So when you say, who do I need to be? First, I need rest. Lanee Blaise does not do well without.
This is going to be blank.
Yes. She needs rest and sleep. She needs time taken out to be still and quiet, to reconnect with her Heavenly Father, and to still all the what ifs. What if this goes wrong? And just know that, okay, if it does go wrong, then we will pivot. If it rains on the day we're supposed to have an outdoor scene, then we will make it an indoor scene, or we'll put a tarp up, or we'll make it romantic and they're playing in the rain or something. So Lanee needs rest. She needs to have good energy. She needs that space to be still and listen for what God is telling her. She needs to believe in herself, but not think that she's got to be perfect, because I'm not going to be perfect. And I'll just go ahead and accept that and be cool with it. And just, and rely, she has to know that she can rely on other people. She can rely on the Lord. It's a whole thing. And these things will change at every moment. Who did I need to be to come on here today? Again, I needed to be well rested. I needed to make sure that I had all the vibrance and wisdom and fun and connection and genuine enthusiasm as possible for today. Then tomorrow, what do I need for tomorrow? Tomorrow, I just need to, be in that mode of just get down and write and be creative. Different things for different days is who I need to be, and with everyone listening, who they need to be. But it's a great question to wake up in the morning and ask yourself.
Oh, that is so good. And I feel like I can't remember which show it was, but kind of touched on this with a guest. But the idea that like your best self will look like something different every day. So like today, my best self may be going to church, getting in like a word, praying after church, having this show, getting off this show, going to be productive, going for a run. And tomorrow, Monday, my best self might be, Lord, I got out of bed.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't create anything. I didn't produce anything. I didn't even put on clothes. I took a shower, put my pajamas back on, and I worked from home. And you know what? That's okay. That was your best self that day, and that was what you needed at that moment. So, and I think especially as creatives in like a film, in an industry that like focuses so heavily on what you're producing and what you're constantly putting out and creating, it is so easy to measure who you are and your worth by what you've done, like right now, or what did you do yesterday, or you didn't put anything out last week. Like, are you really a creator? But I think the beauty in like that statement and that sentiment is that like it's okay, just breathe. Sometimes rest is what you need, and rest is you being productive, you being creative. Like that's you just sitting and just basking, like whatever that looks like. So I don't know about nobody else, but woo, that was freedom in that thing.
Yeah, because this speaks about fast and slow also. We think that fast, productive, on is the way to go. And I tell you from personal experience, many times It is the slow part. And this may be the helper. The slow part means that there's about to be a busy part. You are about to take off in areas that you didn't even know were coming for you. And so savor that rest, savor that time, and you will be double, triple productive. Almost like when you're watching something and you fast forward and you can do it 2 times speed or 4 times speed or 8 times speed. That speed will increase because you took that time, that season that you were meant to rest. You might be in one of those seasons right now. Different people are different seasons right now in that period of restfulness. And please remember, it might be about to pop off. Because if you had spoken to me a year and a half ago, Blended was not on my mind. Rekindled for Christmas was not on my mind. I was still in the mode of only doing screenwriting and trying to get my concepts. I was in front of Disney. I was in front of different production companies. I was optioned to write a film. It was actually not in my genre, but I did, I was doing the writing things. I had no clue I was about to be a producer on top of all of it. I had no idea that I'd be getting to see my name up on the screen in, a year and a half's time. Very quick. It happened real quick.
Listen, 24 hours? What was the prayer answered in 24 hours?
Yes.
I mean, just all good things, all gems. But the idea of appreciating the slow moments, because there's going to come a time where it's back to back and it's like work is nonstop and the grind doesn't stop and you're hustling and you're moving. You're like, wow, I remember that moment where I had a moment and that was all it was.
And you don't want to spend that moment being frustrated that I'm not doing anything, or when is it gonna pick up? And then you don't want to spend when everything is big and like, I'm just so overwhelmed. I wish I could go back to the slow. So just try to remember that.
Delicate balance, and just what do you need in that exact moment? Who do you need to be right now? What do you need to do right now to prepare yourself to be in this moment, but also be you in the future? And I feel like a lot of that is just focusing on the present. But I saw some folks in the comments, like I received that, like you're about to enter a season. I'm like, oh, come on, Lanee prophesying. We really in church.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, I do want to touch on Rekindled for Christmas before we have to wrap. And I know you mentioned that was a Christmas romance film. Listen, I love a good love story. Okay, listen. Yes. And so this is a Christmas romance film, and it is currently like floating around in like the network sphere, trying to find a home, waiting for a release. But that will be coming this holiday season. Tell us about that project.
So that was another project with Renelle Golden. She and Sean Golden, it's a mother and son team, which is fun. They had written the script for that one. So I'm not a writer on that one, but I produced with her on that one. And it was just lovely I know that Christmas movies have become very popular, and it's okay sometimes if you want to go for something that is very popular. And this one has a twist, so I won't tell too much about it, but it has a twist in it. So the reason I say that is because many times Christmas romance movies have a sort of a predictability to them. This one may seem like that, but don't get lost. That's the poster for Rekindled for Christmas. Our star Grace Field and Chelsea Gilson. There's some twists in there, and it's fun, and it's cute, and it's lively, and it's vibrant. And that's another one. Who do we need to be in order to get a Christmas movie out like that? We need to be fun, lively, creative folks. Here's our cast on here, some of our cast members. And we need to, Renelle would always joke and say, vomit Christmas. Like the little farmhouse that we had to just scream Christmas. The outfits that we wore, I got to do a little cameo and be the receptionist.
Oh, that's so fun.
Ugly Christmas sweater. It is just, and little ugly Christmas earrings, but all that stuff, that was just beautiful. And we are actually, Jasmine, we are in the process of trying to push forward a sequel for Rekindled. There's Rekindled for Christmas and then a Rekindled Forever. So we have the distribution in place, and again, business means funding. We are pulling together the funding to get it made, but it's that always thinking for the next step and but also taking some time to rest too. So yes.
Sure. Oh my goodness. Definitely like a chess, not checkers vibe, because thinking about, and I feel like that was a tip I learned pretty early on about like screenwriting and TV and film. It's just like, especially with series, like you're not coming just with a pilot. Like we want to know how this entire story spans across several episodes, several seasons. Like what is this character going to be doing in like season 5, which is like 3 years from now, or like 7 years from now. So I think that is, first of all, kudos. Like we're in expectation, like waiting for both of those, but we're so excited for Rekindle for Christmas. Love, no, literally exclusive, like definitely stuff. Listen, in Creative Color, you're gonna get all the tea, all the juice here. Come get y'all juice. So thank you for sharing that with us, and we will definitely be looking out for both of those projects in the near future. Definitely Rekindle for Christmas very soon. Oh my goodness, Lanee, this was amazing. I just want to know, like, any last words you want to give the folks, any other things coming up that they can look forward to. Let them know where they can follow you, although it's on the bottom of the screen. But tell them all the things. We want to know all the things.
I guess the first thing, yes, please, as far as being supportive, we take a look at, LinkedIn, of course, is Lanee Blaise. I love LinkedIn. Please listen to the podcast. ImagineYourselfPodcast.com is our website for that. We put out a new episode every other week. And I promise you that every single time that you listen, you're going to get some nugget of wisdom that is going to carry you through that week or that month or through your lifetime, just like she's saying about who do you need to be your best self for these certain projects. Blended TV series, please support that. That is just our baby, as far as Renelle and I and the whole cast, everybody who's a part of that project, it is our baby. We really want to get that out there, that when you suffer through an unexpected loss or unexpected tragedies, how do you move forward and who do you move forward with? That is just a big one. And then Rekindle for Christmas is when you need that light and that love and that joy and that happiness. That's what you work towards. As far as what do I want to leave behind as a nugget, I can't help myself, especially because it's Sunday, that it has to be something God-filled. But I do want everyone to sit and take a moment and look in the mirror. This is another one this was from our podcast guest on Imagine Yourself. Her name is Adara Walton, and she is a wonderful guest, but she happens to be my aunt. And she wanted us to do an exercise where we stand in the mirror and look at ourselves eye to eye in that mirror and say, I love you. I am for you. I am with you. God is the one who, of course, is with us and for us, but I love you. I respect you. I'm supportive of what you're trying to do. I love the patience that you have while you're getting it accomplished. I love the energy that you have while you're in the midst of it. I want you to say those things to yourself. Honestly, whatever words that can come honestly, you might find that it's hard to say some of the stuff to yourself. But I have confidence that you are going to win. I have confidence that we as a country, as a world, overall, through it all, we are going to win. Drop the mic. That's all I got.
Literally, I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, Lanee Blaise. This is when like the radio station would cue like the applause, but Lanee, thank you again for being with us. Thank you so much for your contributions to the creative world. We cannot wait to tune into Blended. We cannot wait, and by we, I mean me. I love Christmas movies. I would watch them. I do watch them all times of the year. But we can't wait for Rekindle for Christmas. We can't wait for the sequel that we just got an exclusive about. And we're going to tune into Imagine Yourself podcast. All the links, tags, and things are at the bottom of the screen. Y'all can get connected with Lanee, follow her, see what she's up to. If you are a young woman of color wanting to be in the industry, you got to connect with her on LinkedIn. See if you can get in Black Encore. You'll see me there. You'll see all the ladies, and you'll just see what Lanee is about. Just truly a creative, a connector, and a blessing. So thank you again, Lanee. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. You are doing all those things that you said about me yourself. And I really, really appreciate you, everyone who's involved with this project, everyone at AAMBC. And thanks for having me on.
Of course. All right, y'all. for tuning in to another episode of In Creative Color. As you know, I am your host and your fave, now forever to be known that. So write it down if you need to. Jazzonfire, and I cannot wait to chat with y'all next month with another amazing guest. So yeah, make sure you tune in, stay connected to AAMBC. Look out for Black Writers Weekend, which is coming up soon. I know the AAMBC Awards is coming up soon, so we've got some nominations being released. So just stay tuned for all the good things. Cannot wait to share them with y'all. Bye.
We're so confused, Ty. I'm scared to have this conversation with them.
Just have to take this one day at a time.
Found unresponsive, but her situation's extremely critical.
A white child. Who knows how it's gonna go over in the neighborhood, school, church?
You can't worry about all those things.
His parents already filed a petition.
Ty, we have to.
Grandparents' rights, custody rights.
Like, their bodies aren't even cold yet.
People can be so cruel.
Not my parents. I can't have them around my child.
I want to protect our kids and Emily from whoever tries to harass her.
There is no way I will allow Emily to live with people like you.
Emily is in the ICU.
You need to worry about your own family and your own job, not somebody else's kid.
Daddy, she needs us.
What can we do to help her?
Hey y'all, I am Jasmine Bunch, but now and forever to be known as your fave, Jazzonfire. And I am one of the newest hosts of the Sunday Craft Chats. Catch me every fourth Sunday hosting In Creative Color. Can't wait to see y'all there.